Hello, you interrupted my reading. I have a few announcements to make before we start today's video. One, this video is a Halloween collaboration video with a few different channels. Those are Arasaka Type 99, the Joe Morgan Eat My Shorts channel, Guns, Gear, and Guns with Gary Gunderson, and Blind Sniper. I highly recommend you check out their videos today on this same topic, and subscribe if you think their videos are good. Secondly, this video is for satirical and entertainment purposes only. Do not hear anything in this video and see it as a recommendation. This video is designed to be fun and entertain you. Alright, I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm 8MM Mauser Man. Recently my workplace replaced all of our fire extinguishers, so today I'm going to be shooting them for you guys on camera because it's going to be fun. Alright, let's get into the... What's that? Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Well, I guess welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time. Now you might think it's been like 30 seconds, but I'm traveling back in time from the distant future to tell you about some events that are going to be coming soon, and that is the AI/robot human war. So if you've been wondering what has been going on with AIs and robots over the last 3 years, I can't share too many spoilers because, well, time travel, wibbly wobbly, all sorts of crazy stuff. But what I can do is tell you what guns and ammo you should be stocking up on for the robot uprising. I guess 2023 me left some fire extinguishers down there, so we should shoot those and use those as our armor testing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to swap the 5.56 bolt carrier group in here out with the 22 LR bolt carrier group to see how the 22 LR does at penetrating the armor over there. Alright, let's get into it. I don't know how this gun does at this range with 22 long rifle, but we're going to find out. Let's go take a look at the target with the 22 long rifle. Whoa! We got a straight pass through, in and out. How neat is that? To quote Jefe from the Three Amigos, "You wanna die with a man's gun, not a little CC gun like this." So, let's step it up to a man's cartridge. Now, moving up to the man's cartridges, in the robot AI war, I normally do not recommend carrying a 9mm pistol, because a lot of what we're doing is penetrating armor. So, what I personally use, I try and find a 5.7. I actually found one in the future. I don't have one right now, but in the future it's become a little more prevalent and it's more available. Guns that have a little higher velocity. If you are a little too poor in the present day and age to afford 5.7, get a 7.62 Tokarev. It's basically just the poor man's 5.7, and it has a lot more swag. Alright, but I do still want to see if I can hit that little target over there with this 9mm, so let's try it out. Smoked him. All right, let's go look at the target. I hit the really old fire extinguisher, which is completely depressurized, and frankly, that's why we didn't see anything cool. But we do have a straight 9mm hole impact in, 9mm out. Let's push the rifle rounds. So, if you're planning on carrying a handgun in the robot AI war, I personally recommend something in 5.7, 7.62 Tokarev, maybe 357 SIG, or maybe even your large bore revolver rounds like 44 Magnum and that kind of thing, because you need a lot more force to get through armor than you can with a normal 9mm. But speaking on the same line as force, another thing that I'm going to talk about is typically on this channel in the past, I have recommended M193 if you're going to shoot 5.56, which is 55 grain. It's shooting a little bit faster, fragmentation on impact. It is much higher, much better for a unarmored target because it is going to hit the soft target and fragment. However, in this context, we are not talking about unarmored, soft, fleshy, wet targets. We are talking about heavily armored targets that have robotics and computers and stuff inside. So there are some models of the AI dogs and that kind of thing that are running around that the M193 would work perfectly fine and might even be a little bit superior. However, in the future, I personally prefer either M855 or this is Norma SS109. They're basically the same thing. SS109 is the European designation. M855 is the more based American designation. So, for this comparison, we're going to start with Herder's M193 and then shoot some of that Norma M855. This is M855. That one clearly was not as pressurized as some of the others, but it looks like it did still make a hole in it. So let's go take a look. We have what I think are some pretty interesting results. This one, which I believe was the one I shot with M855, went straight through, as you can see. This one, which I think I shot with the M193, seems to have went in and then ricocheted around the outside. So it might have just been the angle, or this one had a slightly thicker design that it ricocheted instead of going straight through. Or it could be that the M855 is better at penetrating armor, which would make sense as a steel core. All right, let's shoot another round. I'm bringing a gun from the early 20s into the early 20s. So, you may have recently seen the resurgence of shotguns in war in Ukraine. However, we are seeing a resurgence in shotguns in the robot AI human war as well for the exact same reason. That is the increasing prevalence of drone warfare. As drones have been more and more common on these fronts, they've needed something to shoot them out of the sky, and that is what a shotgun is good for. Now, by the time that we are fighting them, the drones are a little bit more armored than the drones that are showing up more in the Russia-Ukraine war. Because of that, we need something just a little bit thicker to penetrate them. Typically, what we like to use is either a heavy or a larger bird shot or a smaller buckshot. That gets us enough pellets to hopefully be able to hit, but to still have enough impact to do damage. Your standard bird shot just isn't quite strong enough to penetrate through the thicker drone armors. Now, the other advantage of a shotgun is energy into the target. If you shoot it with a rifle and it doesn't penetrate the armor, you have limited energy impact. However, this is currently loaded with a slug. If I hit even a robot soldier with a slug, even though he has pretty thick armor, that is enough of a impact to cause up and stir up some issues with the computer circuits inside. And I have seen these do some crazy things. Just last week, I shot a slug at a robot soldier's head, and it destroyed it. What am I talking about so much? Let's shoot something. There we go! All right, let's go look at the target. That right there is what we like to call a spicy meatball. Look at that massive hole inside of there, and then look at this exit. Boom. And then I don't know if you saw it on the camera, but it shot probably 20 feet that way. This is why I like slugs. This is why I like shotguns for these situations. Because even if, I mean, this is pretty thin, so it doesn't take a lot to go through, but just the energy transfer and the massive hole it makes means that you are more likely to hit a target that really, really matters. Would you believe me if I told you that they still call me 8mm Mauser Man in the future? That's right. You know why? Because my all-time favorite rifle for fighting the robots and AI is an 8mm Mauser. However, it's not this one. The reason it's not this one is because, as you may have seen, I did a Hakim video that I got from Royal Tiger Imports a few weeks ago, and it did not go very well. However, I don't have it here because if you've ever seen Terminator, you know how he travels back in time and he's naked and he needs to find clothes? That's actually pretty accurate. So don't worry though, I did time travel back to my closet in the present day so that I didn't have to, worry about anything. That being said, traveling back with a firearm is nearly impossible. So I could not bring my Hakim back with me. However, hopefully someday you will get to see that on a video because I did get a chance to use that before the robot war actually happened. I just don't have it yet. So today I have my Turkish Mauser. The advantage of the Turkish Mauser over the other Mausers is that it has a very long barrel, which means you get a lot of velocity coming out of this. And the cool thing about 8mm versus other large rifle calibers is the availability right now in the present day of armor-piercing ammo. You can get German SMK ammo, which is light armor-piercing. This stuff right here. It has a hardened steel core that's pretty potent. Now, I'm not shooting that out today because we're shooting fire extinguishers. It's going to go right through no matter what. And the other thing is the Turkish ammo that is very, very available right now. Not really safe in my Hakim, but it is safe in a bolt gun. And in this bolt gun, that stuff is spicy. It just explodes whatever it hits. And so if you hit, whether it is one of those Boston Dynamics AI dogs, yes, those are still there. Whether it's one of those drone soldiers that we see that walk and they kind of look like a Cylon if you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica. Whatever it is, this will just tear through armor or really anything, especially if you use the right round. Again, I'm talking too much. Let's shoot something. One hit. Two hit. I think I hit it. The reason they aren't getting knocked over is because the bullet's just going straight through. Let's go take a look at it. 8mm hole, 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 8mm hole. So, that is why I love the 8mm for this context. It just goes straight through everything and it don't stop for nothing. To review, as much as I love 9mm for the present day and age, I do not recommend it for the robot AI takeover because it just doesn't have enough gas. However, what I do recommend is 5.7, 7.62 Tokarev, guns that have a little more penetrating capability, or those large bore Magnum pistol rounds. If you're going to use 5.56, I recommend M855 or SS109 because it has a little more penetrating capability. And personally, I like it out of a longer barrel than this. This is just the gun that me happened to have on the range today. I have swapped this sight over to my M16A1 in the future to get me a little more range out of that and a little more velocity. Shotguns are great for two reasons. One, birdshot. We are dealing with a lot of drones in the future, and so I like to use either a heavy birdshot to take down the drones or a small buckshot in order to take down the drones because you need a little more juice to get through. And even speaking aside from drones flying in the sky, your average robot walking around in the street, this is a lot of energy transfer to hit all at once, whether you use buckshot or slugs. Finally, I'm a big fan of 8mm Mauser. I think the biggest advantage is that right now, you can be stockpiling armor-piercing ammo for pretty cheap. All of that being said, I'm 8mm Mauser Man, and I have survived at least a few years of the robot AI/human war, but I lived on.
Which proves it's hard to get the best of a man named John.
Big John. Big John.